Hi, my name's Alex. I'm Triton Derivative, and this is New Normal. Today I'm going to do an explainer about three things: fractionalized NFTs, indexed NFTs, and randomized indexed NFTs. I'm going to talk a little bit about other examples, but primarily I'm going to discuss NFTX, NIFTEX, and NFT20, or I think it's also called NFT Museum. The three models are like you have you have an item, and you have a bunch of people who want exposure to it. You split that up into multiple parts, and each person has a claim to that. There is also a model of having an index where you have multiple assets, and people want exposure to that. Like an example is NFTX, and you can buy fractions of that. So like it's more like a token system. So you have the people that want exposure, and they want the exposure to the generalized basket. So you have this, which is essentially wrapped, and you can buy proportional shares of any of these, which can be, infinitely divided, essentially, up to 16 digits. Then, with another example, we have something like NFT20, where you have that basket, and you have people who want exposure to it, but they want to be able to choose which ones out of this basket they have access to. So instead of wrapping it, it's like it's represented in this basket, and then each one of these is essentially like a claim to that. And then as long as you have the full claim, which is one token, then you can pull one out. There's also another example, which is a little bit more complicated to explain, and that is the model that ETH item uses, and that's like a 51% share. That's a whole nother series, basically, because the dynamics that go into that are a little bit more complicated. I think it's a really great system, and it's what brought me into being interested in this whole thing. So let's get into it. Jake Bruckman says, the general trend is okay. NFTs are cool, but it's a relatively illiquid asset compared to tokens. NFTs are actually a financial asset class, and they need financial infrastructure. So that's what people are building out. Before I launch into the examples, I want to give credit to somebody who has made huge strides in this space of making NFTs and the art scene far more inclusive and accessible, and that's Jay DeLay. Jay DeLay started something called Spam, and that was like one of the first, basically like randomized indexes that you can have exposure to. He also came up with Rats, and I don't know if he's the sole developer of this or not, but Rats is another thing, and it has a different dynamic at play, and I think it's worth noting because it's kind of like non-financialized as opposed to the other things that I'm going to cover later. Rats is an amazing model. You take a piece of art, you put it in, you can get the Rats token out. Or you take a piece of art and you put it in and you get another piece of art out. It's a great tool for people that want to experiment in the space, that want to kind of like get the temperature of the room as far as like how their art is received. And honestly, I think this is a great launch platform. If you're a new artist starting out, throw your stuff on Rats and get it out there. And if people scoop it up, maybe you're doing something right. I had something that I put on there that was gone instantly, and I was like, okay, it felt really good. And I mean, just the other day, I sold my first NFT. It feels really good, and you'll never know that feeling unless you try. This is something that I think Crypto Child did, and there's more dynamics coming into this space regarding spam and rats, and the involvement of the community has been super awesome. Another unique example of composability with these assets is something that ZeroX has created. That ZeroX Monster has a really cool project, and they have all sorts of people that they're connecting with and other projects that they're connecting with, and making this sort of thing really functional. And when I came to the space, I was looking for this sort of thing. I was really looking, and it didn't exist. It just didn't. Another really cool example of basically like proportional shares that lead up to a claim is Crypto Donuts or Crypt Donuts. And the Crypt Donuts project is a clay donut. And they're thematic, they're really fun. And previously they weren't backed by anything other than that they had made like an animation, and I maybe they have it in a drawer somewhere, maybe they just chucked them for the sake of integrity. But now you have the opportunity to access um, these assets, and if you have the whole set, where was it? Maybe it was on here. If you have the whole set, the first collector to own all copies of any series in a single wallet will get a special edition, one of one animated version of that crypto donut, and also receive the framed physical clay donut model. I think that's cool, and I think these are really cool. And you can get into it and check it out. They're going to be having some more releases today. I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that they're releasing. Uh, but having the ability to basically like either own shares in something that exists or own all of them, which equal one full share or one full claim, is, I think, a really great model. And I think it's really cool that they went ahead and they went for this. Now into the meat and potatoes. Here's an example of an NFT that was fractionalized. This is Cocaine Cowboy, a Axie from the game Axie Infinity. Um, I want to say Cloud White did this. Pretty sure it was Cloud White, and they were one of the kind of like first people in the space to like really leverage this. And another really great example on NFTX is Fractionalized Zombie CryptoPunks. And that has been flying. I'm amazed at how fast that asset's value has appreciated. It's insane. Um, so as you can see, there's 10,000 shares, and I'm pretty sure there's like some sort of buyout. Like if somebody wanted to buy this one Axie, then everybody would get the claim to the proportion of that buyout. NFTX has some kind of thing where they take a cut of it, so they're providing a service, and that's for you to decide whether you want to engage or not. For owners, you can unlock liquidity and volume for your collections. You can get live valuations and greater exposure for your NFTs as fractions trade on the open market. You can invite other stakeholders to join your collection and partake in unique governance use cases. Or for everyone, you get access to unique assets with low price thresholds. You trade NFTs with lower costs and greater diversification. Use fractions for advanced governance of unique assets, and provide liquidity for shard markets and earn transaction fees. It says be a pioneer in the emerging asset class of the metaverse. That is an interesting thing to consider, especially when applied to the metaverse. People could own portions of a parcel in Decentraland or in Somnium Space or in CryptoVoxels. And they could use those fraction parcel or the shares as a voting token. And they could use something like Mintgate to gate the portal. So the only people that have access to that are the people who have the proportional equity in this larger holding. How does it work? Owners of rare NFTs create fractions or shards by choosing issuance and pricing. The NFT is custodied in an audited smart contract. Fractions will be for sale at fixed price for 2 weeks or until they sell out. After the fixed price sale period, the fractions go to market where they can be traded like standard cryptocurrencies. The underlying NFT can be recovered by acquiring 100% of the shards or via a special buyout clause. And I think that's important because some of these things are fractionalized for a reason because they are desirable. And having that buyout gives people who have that about them, that they need the whole thing and they want it, gives them the ability to buy it off the market in the same fashion that they would otherwise. It doesn't actually change that side of things. You could still have this listed on the marketplace. You also give early adopters the chance to have exposure to something, or you give late adopters the chance to have exposure to something that they've been priced out of. Really cool, in my opinion. There's also another project called MetaPurse, and MetaPurse launched the B20 fund. A lot of people are into Beeple, and Beeple is it 10 million? Yeah, it's a fractionalized equity to give people exposure to Beeple art. And I think there's the ability for this to grow, as in more pieces of art can be added to this index. And what's cool about this is that it's an index that you have exposure to multiple assets, but then the index is fractionalized. Cool model. Now there is NFT 20 or Nifty Museum. Their equity token for their project is known as Muse. I believe you can mine it and use it for different things on the platform. They have a farm, and you can provide liquidity. That's a Muse ETH basket on Uniswap, and then you bring it over here and farm, and they'll give you rewards. Often they do that because you're being exposed to the fluctuations of the market, and you could suffer what's known as impermanent loss. And oftentimes, impermanent loss is actually just straight up loss. Liquidity is kind of another whole series in itself. So I'm not going to dive too deep into what that is. What is NFT in simple terms? You can deposit any NFT on one of the pools available or create a pool and get tokens for your NFT immediately. What to do with the tokens I receive? Once you deposit NFTs in a pool and get the equivalent tokens, you can do a few things. You can speculate on them on Uniswap. You can exchange the tokens for other NFTs available in the pool. You can use the tokens to bid on a higher quality NFT on auction because there's fungibility there. And you can add liquidity for those tokens on Uniswap and stake the LP tokens under the farm tab to earn daily Muse rewards. So check this out. You go down here and you can see that there's a Mask 20, a Dudes 20, a Rope 20, a G-Punks 20, Meme 20, I don't know what NDR is, Doki Doki, and I'm not sure what Chonk is, and that's old. So these assets are these indexes of Mask 20 is hash masks. Dudes is crypto dudes, and I think that's pretty new. Rope is rope NFTs. And G-Punks is GAN, what is it, the Bastard Punks. And Meme 20 is Pineapple NFTs from Don't Buy Meme. And Meme has its own really cool kind of like NFT farming provision that's happening as well. The protocol is awesome, if you ask me. I think Meme is really cool. But so with this, you have the ability to wrap these together, and you can check out what is in the pool, and you can trade one mask which has like subjective values. So it's largely speculative, and this creates sort of a price floor for this trading in between them, and that they are all fungible between one another. Um, I can imagine that there's even going to be further developments regarding this, and Vasa has a lot of really cool stuff that he's been posting on Twitter, and I'll probably follow up with him about some of this stuff after he gets back into the game. I wait, what is this? Yes, let's move on. Is it the same page? I think it's the same page. Sorry. Welcome to NFT Docs. So here's a visualization of what's going on here. It's a permissionless P2P protocol to tokenize NFTs and make them tradable on decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap or SushiSwap. You can purchase 20 tokens from Uniswap, swap your NFT for 20 tokens at NFT 20. You can swap your 20 tokens for a new NFT, or sell your tokens for money. Pool your money and farm Muse. This is a pretty dynamic system that they've developed here. It gives rewards to people who are participating and providing liquidity. It gives you exposure to these speculative assets that people have found desirable and then wrapped up and put in the system. So there's the low cost of onboarding, and that other people have curated the content. You have the multiple forms of value that are coming through by having the fungibility, and then you have added value by being able to be rewarded for participating. So essentially, you can, and also you can do it too. They make it really easy for people to add their own projects and create a pool. I'll probably do a tutorial on this. Be advised that when you start a new pool on Uniswap, the first provider often has to pay a pretty hearty fee. So mind your gas fees. Um, just check it out to see. Do it on testnet, really. Like if you wanna do this, see how it works first. Another project that's giving people exposure to a basket of NFTs is Whale Shark. Whale Shark has been in the space for a while. They're pretty prominent in the space, and they're anonymous. They went through a lot when this all went down, because people were like, "How can we trust you?" And I think it's just worth noting that like they made it work. So like if you're in a community and you have like rare assets kind of like amongst the community, or there's like competition within the community, consider cooperating and putting your stuff together with other people and creating an index. And there's a lot of upside to offering that index to other speculators. And there's a benefit of associating within communities. Um, it's a cool option, and that's part of the reason why I'm making this, is because I'm talking to some people that want to be able to offer a wider form of exposure to what they're creating. And if you are a creator and let's say you have like a rare one of one amongst a collection, you could fractionalize that one of one to offer a chance for the people who are collectors who have all the rest of the stuff but can't get that one of one. And it benefits all the people in the community, and I think creates cohesion and camaraderie. Whereas sometimes you have competition, and competition amongst collectors is cool, and I mean it's a thing for sure. And being able to flex on a successful purchase of something like that is is very valuable for some people. Hey, that's a cool monkey. Thanks. You're drawing on your toys, and I'm filming right now. So could you give me a minute? I asked you, please. Thank you. Hash masks are another NFT that has taken the world by storm, and people have wanted exposure to it. The thing that happened right off the bat was that they threw it into NFTX, and there is a connection there with NFT 20 too, and they both are kind of leveraging each other, and they're all leveraging Uniswap to make this possible, and also like Sushi too, which is just an automatic market maker. Um, Having exposure to things like hash masks, which are highly desirable, or to CryptoPunks is something that many of us are priced out of. And if you want something like CryptoPunks or autoglyphs, you're going to have to spend, maybe more than you can afford. But with something like NFTX, you have the ability to come by a tiny fraction. It's like Bitcoin, like some people are like blown away. Oh, I gotta buy a whole Bitcoin. No, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. Oh, I gotta buy a whole punk. No, you don't have to buy a whole punk. Oh, I gotta buy uh two ETH hash masks, or like they have joys on here, and joys are amazing. The the art that's there is so super cool, but it's really expensive. So how do you get exposure to that? Like, this offers that you can come here and you can see that there's all these different options. Like, there's squiggles, there's began punks, there's waifu, there's all these different things that creators and holders have added to these indexes, and you can see the amount of assets within the index here. You see the supply, and you also see types. So they have like even different kinds of like stratification upon the rarity or the qualities and characteristics of these different items. There's Avastars in there, all sorts of cool stuff, and there's gonna be more. Um, this offers a great opportunity for people to get exposure to the world of high priced NFTs. NFTX is a platform for making ERC20 tokens that are backed by NFT collectibles. These tokens are called funds, and like all ERC20s, they are fungible and composable. With NFTX, it is possible to create and trade funds based on your favorite collectibles such as CryptoPunks, Axies, CryptoKitties, and Avastars right from a DEX like Uniswap. There are two types of funds on NFTX. D1 funds have a one-to-one backing between a single NFT contract and an ERC20 contract. For example, if Alice owns two Punk Zombie, that means she can redeem exactly two random zombie CryptoPunks at any moment. Another example would be Alice owning one Axie Mystic 2, giving her the ability to redeem one Axie with two Mystic parts. D2 funds, that's top level, are balancer pools which combine D1 funds. For an example, Avastar will be a D2 fund which combines three different D1 Avastar input funds. That's Avastar Basic, Avastar Rank 30, and Avastar Rank 60. The point of this is to offer more diverse exposure without requiring users to hold multiple tokens. So same thing goes for like punks. You can see up here that there's like a bunch of different kinds of punks up here. But the punk fund contains the balancer pool of all these. The balancer pool is also another really cool automatic market maker technology that is going to require further explanation. But essentially, it allows you to bundle multiple assets and conduct swaps between all of them, essentially. Yeah, so that gives you a general idea. It does say that a common misconception is that NFTX is a project for NFT collectors, but most NFT collectors enjoy browsing and trading individual NFTs, so there's no reason for them to wrap their collections in fungible tokens. It's an important distinction. There are, however, many people out there that don't have the time or knowledge to trade individual NFTs but like exposure to the market. These are the NFTX target users, the people trading top-level funds of NFT blue chips such as Axie, Punk, and Kitty on Uniswap. Not the people minting, redeeming their NFTs on the NFTX website. Most of the time, the only people minting, redeeming fund tokens will be arbitrageurs. In that case, like, I'll give an example. Like, hash masks is a good example because it was moving so fast early on. Some people were just like, well, I got one of these, I'm gonna put it in there, or I'm gonna buy one of these, and then I'm gonna see what I can get out. And it's almost like Doki Doki, where you have this gotcha machine of like randomization and it comes out. I think it's really cool that NFT 20 incorporated the ability to swap between them. And if you leverage all these different platforms, you can have a really, really user friendly experience that gives people a chance to have exposure to the NFT market. Yeah, I hope that helped. And I'll be revisiting this. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to DM me on Twitter. That's Pink Flaming Gucci. And I'm also on YouTube. This is probably where you'll be seeing that. Uh, I'm bullish on this space, and I hope that I provide value to you. I hope this has been helpful in giving you a little bit of understanding. And I would like to announce that I'm going to be tokenizing a couple assets too. I'm going to be fractionalizing a crypto truck. I'm also going to be creating an index of crypto wheels, and we are exploring doing a fractionalization of number 10, which is the stolen issue. And we'll see how this all pans out and what the temperature of the room is regarding people's opinion of how this should happen. That stuff is going to be discussed in our Discord. And if you want to get involved, like I said, DM me. I can get you as much information as you need and answer any questions. I'm glad to help. Thanks for tuning in. I wish you all a weird one.